take down NRG at their absolute best, because ultimately it's 2-3-0 series, and starting us off, Justin in that Pele decal is showing us why they are one of the best teams in North America.
If any player deserves the decal of the greatest, of the GOAT, it's got to be Justin there, rocking a full Pele setup as well, his little play attack.
Not the wheels. Not the wheels. He's gone with the Goldstone wheels. I know, I'm sorry, but I couldn't let you lie to yourself.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad at all, and nor is NRG start in this game. A couple of seconds in, they've already got themselves a goal. And do you believe that NRG are going to be the Galacticos of NA Rocket League when all is said and done?
I think they can be, definitely. They've had a very, very good run of form recently, and Justin nearly gets another one, but Garrett instead fills in the gap underneath. He does get bumped away from that ball, rocking none of the Pele items, may I say, but he has got that very impressive Season 1 tournament winner, so congratulations to him. I think NRG are likely to win this matchup, but we don't know what this SQ roster is like with Shock. He has been one of the best players for Susquehanna Soniqs previously. You know, he's very, very impressive, very aggressive, and I've always enjoyed watching him. So hopefully he's back to that standard.
A very intelligent player is Shock. Someone who'll be able to sort of jump in and let them know if things aren't working against NRG, if they're giving them perhaps a little bit too much space on the ball. SQ will certainly have some changes they'll be able to make things a little bit less simple for NRG, but so far it has been just that. A bit of a stroll in the park for NRG up to this point, and I hope that if NRG do go on to win this series, my dream is that at least we'll get to gain a sense of how SQ are trying to approach the game. Because sometimes when you're up against NRG, it doesn't matter if you have a mantra of always passing. It doesn't matter if you firmly believe that solo plays are the way to go. You do whatever you can to prevent them scoring another pre-jump, flip reset wonder goal, you know? So hopefully it's going to be close enough that we actually get a sense of what SQ are here to do.
Yeah, it's not always as simple as we'll play our game and see if we can win it. You can't do that against these top teams, but Shock with one of the first shots on target. I will now rotate via that mid boost, but Squishy is up central. Can get it down towards Garrett G. Shot on net, but J. Russ filling in the gap at the back. Now Justin Pele's his way up into the air. Garrett will receive the pass and sends it down long. Not much of a plan to that hit, but the pressure does remain. Squishy, third man back, and Roldiz is found from the pass. 100 boost stolen. Chance for an attack to build here for SQ.
Yeah, really nice dribble away from Roldiz. First a fake, then a clean touch. A man who was once dropped by E United, now trying to show that he deserves to be up on this stage against the likes of NRG. Here he is now on the ball. Pumps it forward, tries to set up Shock, and he does. And there's that intelligence from Shock. Knows when to go back and when to linger forward just for a second longer. And then strings it together with a demo as well. So SQ just starting to wake up and have a few moments of their own. And Stumpy Goblin, did you just see what I just saw?
I believe that was Garrett.
It was Garrett.
A Rule 2.
Unbelievable scenes there from Garrett G. You would not believe it. I can hear the imaginary crowd. You know how at the moment with COVID, football, soccer matches, and I'm sure NFL games as well, they've got like fake crowd noise. I can almost hear the fake crowd booing.
Well, we did that in Madrid. When that was broken, we booed. I think it was even Justin. We booed him very hard.
Yeah. They never learn, do they?
So it's okay.
These esports kids. Roldiz trying to close down Garrett. He's played really well so far as Roldiz. Shock's a little bit in a little bit of trouble. It's 3-0.
Justin, the man that got booed at Madrid, that's all he's known for. Just receives the hit from J. Ross, who does send it down central. Shock, before J. Ross even touched it, was on his way back, and yet he still couldn't outpace the shot from Justin in his own third. 3-0, NRG decisively taking all of the action to SQ and asking what they're made of.
Yeah, for all the fun of wanting to see SQ suddenly come out of nowhere to be a top team, it is nice to see NRG playing so well again. The way they string passes together, the intelligence as well as mechanics that Justin has. I mean, like, just look at this. Look at him pirouetting with the ball in the air. Shock, all he can do is just wait and say, Justin, do your thing. I'll tackle you when the time is right. But of course, the amount of territory that he brings, and he's doing it again, it's just so easy for this man. And that's why he is always so confident in his Twitter posts.
Yeah, never in a slump, never in doubt, always knows he's one of the best players in the world. And that's what I like about him. Shock trying to find J. Russ, does so, and Roldiz with the bump. The ball will only go and find Garrett at the other end. Good team play, though, from SQ. Everybody involved in one way or another, offensively and passing, and also getting bumps.
This is more like the SQ that sort of burst onto the scene in Season 9 and shocked everyone. Pun genuinely not intended, and I'm so annoyed that I used the word shocked. They just seem to have such a good idea of who should be doing what. You know, there's never double commits. The decision-making is always on point. The passing is coming in when it should be. And then when the ball does fall to Shock like it has there, is able to turn it into a decent shooting opportunity. Now it's J. Ross's turn onto the floor. But yeah, the shape of SQ, I think we can start to see it, but NRG have the quality that when they do break, they're going to score goals.
Yeah. And Justin is definitely feeling it today. That's one flip reset. Gets a second, but instead J. Ross comes in to intercept that play with just over 10 seconds left. NRG won this with 90 seconds left, realistically.
There's been not much chance of SQ winning this one since the first 2 goals went in 20 seconds, to be fair. I was going to add as well that I think that, if you can boo a Rule 2 being broken, then I think it should be fair that if somebody's about to score a double flip reset and you save it, that's got to be worth at least a hiss, like a...
I think a triple. I think double is fair game. I think a triple is, you know what, you deserve that one.
Does that change as the meta develops? So in 6 months, we'll be seeing triple flip resets all the time. It has to be a quad and so on.
Yes, I think so. So originally, if there's a flip reset that you saved, you'd be like, oh, come on. Come on, what are you doing? It's 2017. That's impressive. And then you look at a double, and that is getting more and more common. Still a bit rare, but enough to save it. 3, that's just out of the realms of possibility in one of these matches.
I still remember the days, mate, of being tilted if somebody saved an aerial. Back in my day.
You still do get annoyed.
How we have moved on to the point where I no longer get annoyed if people save my aerials. They shouldn't. They should let them go in. Game 2. Susquehanna Soniqs. Did you see enough from them to say that they can come back in this series?
SQ did a really decent job of getting to some good passing positions and good demo positions. I think there is a chance for them to get more goals from them as well. They were just saved away.
Okay. Well, let's hope that is the case. Rolls is on the backboard. Is going to take this touch right here out to the side. Justin with a beautiful catch, and Justin with a stunning goal. It's just so easy for him when he's on that far wall. Look at this. Rolled is towards Justin. That first touch is spectacular. If anybody else in Rocket League had scored a goal like that, I would probably be more impressed. But Justin has been doing that so consistently and for so long that we sort of expect an awkward, pinchy half volley touch to land absolutely perfectly in front of him, and then for him to have the composure to see it away again. So, wow, just what a player he is, and it's far from expert analysis to say that. Somebody can watch Rocket League for the first time, and immediately Justin will stand out as being immense, but that's a chance for Squishy to double up, and unfortunately, the second game has started the exact same way the first one did.
Yeah, first goal for Squishy, though, on that scoreboard. First game was just Justin and Garrett. Finally, game 2 gets his name up in lights. And a bit less of an impressive goal from him, but still gets it on target, and it does lead to the same end result anyway. And SQ immediately needing to bring something out big, because 2 goals dropping that early, maybe 3 if Justin can get to this. Does so, Garrett there to follow. Sorry, Squishy sends it high, saved by J. Ross. And Garrett coming in and getting those awkward touches. Something that NRG have been doing very well is getting a touch even when they're not in a great position, because it just sends it onto a position where SQ aren't able to get it away. But Squishy, with a save, sends it central. Shock is lurking.
Yeah, it's all from 50-50 here. Look at that. Rolls against Justin, forces it towards the goal line. And I think that Squishy... Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the best clearance actually in the world from Squishy. Not quite good enough from him. And then there was Shock, the man at the end of it all, to force the first goal for Susquehanna Soniqs in this series. So well done then. And I was just about to say that I was getting a little bit annoyed with SQ. I mean, the first game, NRG come out, blitz a couple of goals in, fair enough. The second game, I just want to see SQ be so disciplined and make sure they don't throw it away in the first 30 seconds. It looked like they had. But hopefully that goal from Shock will get them back into this second game.
Yeah, just scoring 1 goal is going to get your mentality back up to the point where it should be, considering the position that you are in. Justin receives 1, can hit it again, doesn't go too far as Squish sends it high central. Garrett, a man who has practiced his mechanics an unbelievable amount to get himself to a position where Justin can be shown up a couple of times as the meta does develop. But Squishy receiving the pass from Justin. Those two getting goal without the help of Garrett this time.
Yeah, showing that they can score simple goals as well. It's just a nice pass from Justin, punching the ball towards Squishy. And then he was never not scoring that one against Shock. A couple of goals for Squishy in this game, neither of them particularly impressive. That's the scary thing about NRG, do you know what I mean? Like, let's say Justin, for the first time in his career, actually does enter a slump. He actually has poor mechanics on the day. You've then got Garrett G, one of the smartest players in the entirety of Rocket League, let alone NA. And then you've also got Squishy, somebody who is less immediately flary as Justin, but as far as improvisation goes and goals that you wouldn't expect, Squishy is as good as anyone in the world. And NRG, even when they're slightly staggered, are incredibly dangerous. But when they're finding each other like this, they are just a joy to watch.
Justin with a sublime read of that as well. Squishy getting involved. Garrett contends with two. Both Shock and Rolders send it on the net, but Squishy goes up high. Garrett moving Rolders from the pitch as he tries to cheekily go for the boost steal in that back corner. All three now of SQ in that back corner. J. Russ and Rolders both arguing as to where they should be. Justin can catch, takes over J. Russ. Doesn't try and find Garrett, nearly dribbles it round Rolders. Playing with his food at the moment.
His first touch is just ridiculous, Justin. Each one he gets manages to sort of thread the ball a perfect distance from him so he can drive towards it with momentum to get the next touch, while also keeping it away from his opponents. Just so incredibly clever, and SQ don't have too much of an answer for it right now. But that's clever from J. Russ, and he has the pass it back to him, shoot! Oh, what a save from Justin! Unbelievable in defense as well, but a good sign for SQ.
That shot was going to be coming in from one of two players, literally anywhere on the net, because they were facing it front on. And the reason why he saved it, his positioning. He got into a good position in front of the net with boost, and he could cover behind him as well as in front of him at any angle. Justin, fantastically defensive, and now trying to get on the end of that ball from Shock, does so central to Squishy. Back to Justin, not back to Squishy as Justin, aided by the post. That is the man's second in this match and the fourth for NRG.
Pretty much identical to the goal that he just saved from SQ down the other end. Justin and Squishy, they have put all sorts of passes into each other in this second game. And then a good finish from Justin. Rolders so close to getting the save for SQ, but it wasn't to be. And now we have 3 NRG goals, and I think we're going to see a couple more now. Look at Garrett getting involved, sticking the ball to his car. Well, J-Russ has come forward to send NRG back. Poor touch from Squishy. Shot's going to almost beat him to that one. It was a little bit risky in defense. Quite a goal for SQ, but a chance.
I would have liked to have seen J-Russ there go for the demo. He had a chance to, he had the boost to, and even if it didn't come off, he had enough boost to recover. And now Garrett can send it on target from Squishy's pass, but it's all at the other end. J-Russ even faked going for the challenge and then didn't follow through to go for the demo in lieu of the challenge. Squishy got the bad touch. If he got rid of him from the pitch, suddenly it's an open net for Shock. Not great idea there from J-Russ, and seconds after, Garrett booms it below the crossbar. 5 goals for NRG.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much the NRG show. One more goal, maybe. Rolders blocks out Garrett. Now Justin's coming forward, having a go. I mean, fair play to NRG. They're still going for more, and they're not just going for spectacular goals. I mean, and we saw Garrett there, who was nibbling at his opponent, at the goalkeeper, trying to get an easy goal for his teammate. They just love scoring goals. What else is there to say? This is a bit of a golfing quality at this point now. And the question then becomes, is that because SQ have slowed down, or are NRG feeling particularly hot today?
NRG are currently unbeaten in games. 3-0, 3-0, and at this point, 2-0. Huge performance. NRG are taking this game to the end. 5-1. NRG's game is secured.
I'd love to say, what do you think that SQ can change to fix this? I'm not sure there is too much that SQ can change. I mean,
they can go for bumps. That's the thing. Like, a couple of times, I think ultimately they're in an uphill battle. They are going to struggle. It's going to be very, very tough. Might not even be possible, realistically. But the best way they can do this is by disrupting one of the 3. Ideally, get involved with Justin or Squishy. They are the ones that are making the difference, because both of them over 600 points. Justin on 760. A lot of pressure coming from both of those two players, and chances, ultimately, for the Sonics to have bumped and to have demoed. If you can remove one from the pitch, it doesn't send them too much out of kilter because of how adaptable NRG are, and some teams are just better at that, but it does more of an effort than just trying to win in a raw 3v3 match. Tip the scales in your favour.
I'd love to believe that is the key, and suddenly SQ will fight back. But the problem is that, you know, it's definitely one part of the key. It's one of the little angular bits at the end of the key, but you also need the rest of them in a special combination to work as a key. The problem is you try and bump NRG, you try and bump Justin, and he's quicker than you. You can't do it because he zips around the pitch with such pace. The only thing I can think of for SQ is just to be as solid as possible at the start of this game. Make sure they don't concede early, and try and grind out a 1-0 to go full Pittsburgh Knights. I believe that at least at the beginning, and then maybe go into it more as the series goes and show a bit more attacking emphasis. But I would not be against the idea of them fully defending for the first 30-45 seconds or so, which they appear to be doing, and then after that is stage 2, which is score against them. And again, I don't know how, but maybe this is it. Shot coming in, not quite safe from the side.
I do find it funny how often we go with the exact opposite ideas of what we think should happen. Yeah, like, you're going to defend for a minute against NRG and be sitting back in your own net. Yeah, but they haven't been sitting back in their own nets. They've been taking it to the midfield and battling it out there. They're taking more to NRG than they were earlier on. That's suddenly a chance. I think at the end of the day, NRG are going to be one of the toughest opponents you will ever face in Rocket League. The way that you beat them is by making it unfair and giving it a 2v3. Good aggression, but Squishy can't get back in time. Shock, central. I'm so happy he went for that pass. Didn't come out, but it was the play.
Now Rolders is up as well. J-Ross gets another touch. Rolders could be underneath this one. Squishy's clearance is good, and unfortunately for SQ, it's landed on Justin, who gets his flick perfectly. Rolled in by Garrett. And you can have all the pressure in the world if you're SQ. All it takes is one pass out, and NRG will find a way.
Jay rolled this as well, had that save. That was coming back out, and Garrett could just get the dunk on. You may as well just go for that.
Yeah.
Garrett does get that first goal with actually a decent performance by SQ to start off with. Not the first goal going towards them, but a good performance and good chances. Shock now working his way up the pitch, but Garrett will intercept enough boost to get the second touch. Not quite round J-Ross, but will use the nose of that blue card to help him out. Justin bumping one. Squishy above target. Rolled this with the backward save. Central from Justin. And rolled this down this left wing. Can be caught by the world champion.
Double commit.
Yeah, chance is definitely emerging. Shock just lurking in that back net. But nobody comes there because the ball falls and continues down towards that orange net.
The NRG are definitely SQ are definitely getting more territory against NRG in this third game. The NRG happy to play on the counter for now, knowing that their attacks are pretty devastating, especially when the pass of the connecting. There's a good save though from J-Ross. Starting to read those passes are SQ. Shock up against another NRG man. Just booming the ball back long for now. Hoping to get a clean touch on the ball to try and launch something a little bit more. Volt is turned away from a potential bump there on Squishy. I think that was the wrong decision. I think if he had continued moving forwards, he would have had it. And Justin's so close to something else spectacular, but not to be. And there is still only one goal in this one with a couple of minutes left.
He's gone for them a few times now, and that's the only one that's properly maybe like, he's got that. Oh, Garrett with the 50. Shock though lands in the perfect position, and with the help of J-Ross, who Garrett kindly brings back to his owner, will just about manage to keep this ball in the centre. But yeah, Justin has gone for those corner reads very often, and it's the first one that's been very convincing. Rolled this though, great save, whips across the net.
Good pass from J-Ross to Shock. Shock might be able to get another touch here. He tries to against Squishy. Squishy's pass is as far as Garrett, but not quite perfect for Garrett. So all he can do is just pump it towards J-Ross. We need some pure, clean mechanics from all three SQ players if they're to have any hope
Squishy
here.
Just wait.
Exactly. He just knows exactly what J-Ross is trying. That's a really good pass from Rolders towards Shock. Can Shock get a solo play? He gets one touch, gets two, and Garrett closes in just before he pulls the trigger.
That third just slightly out of his reach, but the ball will find him again. Shock,
good pass.
Just wide of target. J-Ross can receive the pass central, but saved away by Garrett. Now Squishy working his way down the pitch. Garrett just going for bumps and demos. That ball flicks its way past one of the defenders on that blue side. Rolders removing Justin, opens it up in the middle, but Garrett bodying the blue player.
Yeah, the best we've seen from SQ so far. They are improving in this series. Shock shoots, Shock scores! They deserved it as well. Honestly, the last minute or so, SQ have looked just as every bit as good as NRG. And there was actually a poor touch from, I think it was Justin, and there was Shock.
It was, yeah. Involved with the bumps and with the demos on that NRG back line meant that Garrett G could not respawn in a decent position. Finally, SQ opening up the net in this game. The miss from Rolders, though, is then challenged by Justin. Up high is Squishy challenging J-Rus. Falls low. Garrett with one, goes for the backboard, gets that second touch. Shock, I thought, was in a better position than he was. Justin can send it high. J-Rus works his way out of the net, found by Squishy, who's now low on boost. Shock finds J-Rus, who finds the bottom corner.
Such patient defending from SQ. I was just about to praise that. But never mind that. Let's instead praise the pass from Shock and the finish from J-Rus into the bottom corner. He would have known the entire time he was moving forward there, Stumpy, that he would have one chance to take the lead against NRG. He knew he had to take it, and he did just that, but it's not over yet. Justin's coming, wants a flip reset, instead gets a fake, and then a little flick over the top. Squishy's coming in, but misses, and Garrett can slow it down in the corner. 10 seconds left for SQ to hold. Squishy and J-Rus. It's a good win for J-Rus. Then Shock comes forward. Justin puts it into the center. J-Rus moving forward quite a lot. Have to be careful, there's no counter here. But what a win from Rolders. And they are a ball touch of the floor away from winning this third game and turning this into a series. But never count NRG out. They've got one more chance here.
That's it, and Soniqs send it onto the floor. And we were giving our advice of what we thought the Soniqs should do in order to win that one. You went for the more defensive, wait them out, and then see if a goal can then happen, and you can do the counter-attack. My idea, go for the bumps, go for demos, disrupt the back line, and you might open up something. Turns out, it was a little bit of both.
It was. That's why smarter people than us don't say, just try one thing. They actually get a feel for the game as it is.
That's why Gregan's got a job.
Exactly, indeed. And thank goodness that there are so many coaches in the Rocket League world that are now plying their trade in this wonderful RLCS Season X. And I must admit, I thought this had 3-0 written all over it. After Game 2 finished 5-1 for NRG, I did not think for a second that Susquehanna Soniqs could get anything from this series, but they are the first team now to take a game off of a red-hot NRG today. So more and more good signs for SQ that they are legit and they are a top team again, but NRG are just that little bit better. So SQ have got to be careful.
That improvisation by Justin nearly got them a goal. We praised Lucian for it earlier. Justin has that and more. Squishy rolls it over his shoulder. Can't get it over Shock, however, who just waits, and then Squishy bips him out of the way. Garrett now going for the butt plays. Doesn't manage to get anything. Has now done this right wing. Rolders and Justin.
Good play. I think that one thing that SQ are now doing really well that they weren't doing in the first couple of games is that they are taking the fragments of time that they have. You know, it's rare against NRG that you'll be able to take a touch, and you've got to be so brave to take it when it comes. But what they're doing now is taking them, but down the other end, NRG are capable of scoring pretty much any second they choose to. Good pass.
Yeah, Squishy off that side wall, finds the central to Justin, who previously has tried to go for solo play reads by booming out of the corner, then reading it central. Instead, he needs Squishy to hold his hand, and does get that goal. The first one in this fourth game. But NRG did take the lead in the second, and Shock decides to bang it in the net in front of his teammate.
Yeah, it was a great finish on the Season 9 MVP. Justin and Squishy combining yet again in attack, and then J-Rus, he would have had that one. It's so frustrating. He'd have had ball cam on the entire time. Just needed slightly better communication there from SQ.
Big hit by Shock. Doesn't find the net that he would desire, though. And now 2 goals clear for NRG. And yeah, they did take the lead in that first game, but by 1. And by 2, it's a lot to bring back.
SQ will know that they can get a couple of goals in games against NRG, just have to do it for the second time in a row. J-Rus is going to turn into this one, get a clean touch as well. He's going for the ceiling. How poetic would it be to beat Squishy on the goal line with a classic ceiling play? That'd be beautiful.
It would be nice.
not to be on that occasion.
90 seconds has elapsed, and NRG regaining the pressure. Decent amount, though, from Soniqs coming into that first 90 seconds.
Oh, good touch.
Now chance for one. The second Shock is up, but Justin, a clear car length faster than Shock, who wanted to go for that shot. Boomed far by J-Rus. Garrett with the second, and Shock has to hold that back line. The third man has to be so far back when defending against NRG because of how well they adapt. But Shock passing central very frequently and typically finding a player too.
Yeah, that is the intelligence of Shock. He is just such a good player at timing those passes and getting the perfect amount of pace on them. That was yet another wonderful example of his passing repertoire, but it was read also by NRG in defense, who were defending well, to be fair, themselves. The scourge of their double commits and they started losing in the off-season seems to finally have been alleviated, and teams are no longer getting free goals against them. They have to work hard for them, as SQ are doing. Shock with a 50-50 with Justin. J-Rus gets a touch here, gets it over the top of Garrett G, then wants to dunk Squishy. He does, but Justin's going to be the fastest reader onto that one. Now the problem is that Justin has a chance for a solo play.
Just not enough boost to match up with the dream that he had. But Squishy goes low. Rolders has to redirect himself into such a different position. Does so very well. 2 minutes remain. SQ still without a goal in this fourth match. And this could be NRG going through. Garrett central. Justin, though, didn't quite commit far enough up.
Rolders puts it down the line. Shock's going to get a touch here. Good interlinking touch from him again. But no one from SQ read it or had the boost really to close it down. Now Garrett's a chance to pass, but Shock's closed them down once more. Squishy up, Squishy catches, like the Justin catch from earlier. The first goal on Forbidden Temple, which started the absolute rout in game number 2. SQ needs something pretty soon just to instill some belief. It's J-Rus from the ceiling. He does have the pass there. It's Shock. Closed down by Justin. So smart. But Rollers comes forward again. Oh, his touch wasn't quite good enough. And Squishy says thank you very much and sends them back again. But SQ are doing what they did in the last. Slowly but surely building themselves into this game. And eventually, via Shock, getting the goal that puts them back in it.
Last time, 2 goals won SQ the match. This time, 2 goals will only get them even. Similar time frames, however. Maybe about 30 seconds more or so in this matchup. So more time for them to get a third goal that they will be needing. But they got a goal and kick-off in that third match. Will not be happening this time. Instead, Garrett with the chance.
Oh, well played.
And Roll Diz replaces him on that ball cam and gets the demo to save SQ so far. 100 boost steal gives the chance to Roll Diz.
I thought the shot was there for a second, but not to be. Now Justin manages to force something on. He had no boost for all of that, and still he shimmied his way onto the ceiling and had a delayed dodge. But J-Rus, what happened to the NRG defense? SQ equalize.
Garrett G just taking his time in 2 minds. Does he go on the wall? Does he go back? He ends up doing neither. Jumps out late and J-Rus sends it low. Squishy thought that block was a sure thing from Garrett. It was not. He's awkward in net. Goes behind Squishy. 50 seconds and now we're even.
Susquehanna Soniqs and Shock on the ascendancy as J-Rus pumps that one towards the pad, but a miss by Squishy in defense.
What's going on?
Just falling asleep, missing shots that you never expect them to be anywhere near missing. Justin's going for a flip reset on the floor. Not going to help his team at all. And Shock with the goal of the series so far amongst a million bangers.
That touch, the pass comes in from Rolders and tips over the top. 91 miles an hour registered on the speedometer from Shock. That's 3-2 and ahead are the Soniqs.
I have missed this variant of Shock for the last few months. This is why so many of us watching the RLCS Season 9 thought this player was legit. There were talks for him joining all the top teams who were struggling back then. And SQ are in the ascendancy. What a turnaround from them in game number 4. Garrett G puts it long. NRG desperate for a goal. It's going to be Shock into the corner. Garrett closes it, but Roldis' clearance sends the ball all the way back down the other end. And look at the confidence from Roldis too. Closing down Squishy, closing down Justin, stealing their boost. It's J-Rus that's going to fake this one out. Garrett G puts it out wide and Justin does keep it high. This is NRG's chance.
Garrett central goes high. Shot on target! But he can't manage to get the power on. The defender wasn't there, but the ground was. Game 5 somehow is now on the cards.
Not even on the cards, it is the cards. The flop, the turn, and the river have been drawn. And Soniqs are seeing us, I'm talking about poker, mate. And Soniqs are seeing us all the way. If you don't know, just assume that I've got it covered, all right? The poker
Blackjack? I don't know.
Yeah, very good. Anyway, what I am saying, my friend,
Lucky game.
is that Soniqs are on the cusp of reverse sweeping NRG. I did not see that coming. I'll accept it. I'll put both hands up high and say, this shouldn't be happening.
But it is. And that's what Soniqs are riding on. That momentum coming into this 5th game is so high for the Soniqs. NRG, though, if there's one team that can deal with this pressure, this is, quite frankly, right now, child's play. Like, this isn't their last chance. This is just to go through unbeaten. And NRG have won world championships off that pressure. This time, they're going to need to do it to take down the Soniqs just to get through to the top 8.
You know what? You're completely right as well, because I remember back in Regional 1, E United were up against Space Station Gaming, and they were 1 goal away from beating them and going through to Stage 2 in the Swiss unbeaten. They lost that overtime after 7 minutes or so, and they ended up losing every other game after that to lose in Series 2 and 3. So the pressure for SQ is so much higher than it is for an NRG roster that will assume they'll just win the next series if they lose this one. It makes it, ironically, so much easier for NRG here, especially when Justin can do that and almost pinch in an early goal for NRG.
Tell you what, though, Justin's gone for a lot of those mechanical shots. Not many have landed.
Not for a while.
Realistically speaking, he's done a very good job to get there, but some are wide. Some are saved, and they are decent shots on, but he has not had too much success with them. Bread and butter plays, though, have been absolutely plenty, and they've done very well on the NRG squad to score them. But now, all eyes are on Soniqs. Can they get this reverse sweep? Shock goes up, sends it central with not too much target. Roll disc can send it high and above Justin. Both Jairus and Shock on.
What a win.
That's just above the target, and Squishy on the goal line clears away.
There was so much I loved about that play, though, from SQ. First off, the read from Rolders on the backboard was perfect. He got so much distance on it. And then both Shock and Jairus went up for it. Jairus, I believed it was, called off Shock, and then almost got the perfect pass onto the backboard. Just beautiful team plays and mechanics there from SQ. They are not letting the moment get to them just yet.
And Soniqs, like you say, looking very stable, very chill. NRG trying to put the pressure on as best they can, though. That pinch going on target. Rolders credited with the save. Justin and Shock both lacing that ball into each other. Doesn't go too far until Jairus finds it on the left. Rolders went for a bump, but Jairus goes for the double.
Rolders up against Squishy, and it's sort of a draw, but Shock's next to it. Justin and Garrett queuing up underneath this ball to try and get a transition going, but the transition game only goes as far as Rolders. Justin intercepts, calling Jairus into question. A good touch from him, then a great one again. He has really grown as this series has gone on. Jairus started off pretty anonymously, but now is looking like one of SQ's better players at this juncture. But here's one of NRG's in Squishy. Squishy versus Shock. Squishy sort of gets it past Shock, sets up Justin, who can get the double tap. It's actually a pass, but Garrett G, up against all 3 SQ players, can't force it home.
Great pass down from Squishy. Justin, though, lurking on that left boost, so it wasn't in the center where the ball did end up finding itself. That's central, but Justin can't get the touch as it's cleared away by Jairus. Now Squishy goes high and gets the double on target. All of this pressure for NRG and SQ lapping it up.
Jairus goes as long as he can, then gets almost a clean second touch against Squishy, who needs to get this boost and does. Shock versus Justin. Lots of 50-50s in the air right now until Jairus has completely suppresses NRG with that demo, opening things right up to allow him to get that clean 50-50, just to give them a glimpse of the NRG goal, because as time goes on, we're getting closer and closer to the SQ goal, and somehow Justin scores.
The positioning in net from Rolders is less than ideal. He goes so far back, and then he goes up. If he started driving and then jumped for the aerial, he saves that. The ball's 95% over, but he saves it. He's just so slightly back that I imagine on his screen even, he got the hit away. And with under 90 seconds, NRG take the lead to try their best to fend off this ravaging SQ side.
Justin needs to get this win. Of course he does, up against Shock. And J-Russ is underneath the ball, just letting Justin do his thing, but still he comes forward with the ball as Justin. And another 50-50 win. Then a fake on Shock. Goodness me, Justin just did not want to let anybody else play there. Finally, Shock can pump the ball forward. And Roldis can get a midfield boost as well, which should help things. He's still in the middle now, going for bumps, going for demos. The ball goes above his head. He'll be able to go up here and try and get a touch. There's two of them now going for demos and bumps. SQ really have been listening to your advice, Stumpy. They want to knock NRG off the face of the earth in the last 40 seconds or so.
J-Russ doing his best, drops it low. Didn't have the position for the double, but regardless, Squishy is there to clear it away. Now Justin with one gets the flip reset over the top of Shock. Now with zero boost again, does so much with it. Gara one fake, but J-Russ there to support Roldiz. 20 seconds remains. J-Russ sends it long, intercepted by Squishy, but Shock over the top.
Yeah, great win by Shock, and now Roldiz has a chance with the backboard. Garrett G needs to be really careful. He doesn't get dunked here. 10 seconds left for NRG to hold and win what should have been a simple series by the skin of their teeth. J-Russ has one more throw of the dice for SQ. Roldiz is there, a double commit by NRG, and Shock needs to get the perfect touch here, and he can't quite do it. And NRG managed to avoid the reverse sweep and go through to the playoffs unbeaten.
Not in games, though, like they might have been expecting. That became so much more of a task by NRG. They got there in the end, but Sonic so close to getting that reverse sweep. All it came down to, that goal by Justin, fends them off in what an incredible series. Sonics, despite the loss, in my mind, no doubt are the real deal.
They have to make sure that now they don't feel sorry for themselves if they go to Series 4 and think, we shouldn't be here, we should have done it earlier. They have to play the same way they did in those last, being honest, 3 games, because, you know, the one they lost on Champions Field was a wonderful performance as well. J-Russ, who grew into the series, Shock was looking like his old self with those redirects and those shots and those passes.
91 miles an hour on that redirect.
If that doesn't end up on the RL Esports subreddit, I'll be very disappointed. And Rolled is some clean touches as well. But I mean, NRG, are they the premium team right now for you on form?
The first 2 performances, no doubt. No doubt in my mind, that's exactly what you want to see from NRG. That was 100% more on the Sonics that brought it back rather than NRG letting it slip. They kept their composure though, and they took it in 5. It's the best they could have done against one of the strongest Sonic side we have seen in about half a year.
Well, let us know what you thought about that series on Twitter and whether SQ this time are for real with Shock back by @ing RL Esports and using the hashtag RLCS. But otherwise, don't go anywhere because in a few minutes, it's G2 versus Alpine.